What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live auction fantasy football mock draft for you. We're going to do this on FantasyPros here. As you can see, we've got our setup. It's going to be a 12-team full PPR league auction draft. Our roster, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then 5 bench spots. That's pretty much it, so we can kick this thing off. Now, I will say this will be an aggressive type of draft. So we're going to go after the top-notch players and see how it pans out. I think that's always pretty useful. And while we go through it, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe. Let us hear it in the comments section. I know that not a lot of other people are putting out auction draft advice. So this is the place to ask all those auction questions. It's one of my favorite formats, so I will definitely be engaging with you guys. Let me hear it in there. And also make sure to check out the 2022 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide, now available for purchase. Has everything you can want at a great value. Top 150 overall player ranking in standard and PPR formats, individual player bios, tiers, projections, along with general fantasy advice. Details in the description. But with that being said, let's take a look at this thing here because it is kicked off. And so we've done one of these auction drafts on FantasyPros before, and the takeaway was that the running back position is one that is overpaid for by the computers. So the suggested value, I feel like, is going to be gone over by at least $10 to $15 for the top guys every single time. But I promised you that this will be a aggressive type of strategy. So I'm going to just go real aggressive right out the gate, and that's going to be going after probably just Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey, land both of them, and then just build out the rest of our roster. And it's going to be kind of a aggressive early type of game, and then just wait it out. That's what happens anytime you go with an aggressive type of strategy. But what I can appreciate right now is that all the guys not named, Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey, are being kind of put up as nominations so that some of these other people are using up their money. And the nice feature that they have here is we can pass on this. So now we're gonna bid up Christian McCaffrey, and this is gonna be a process. So I honestly wouldn't be shocked if this gets up to $70. So let's see what happens. Like I said, I think it's gonna be a situation where it'll probably get up to $70. We're leading at 68 right now. If I get him at 68, I would be very happy, only paying $10 more. So we do get him. Now here's Jonathan Taylor. Here is the quote unquote heavy hitter. And the way that I kind of, my analogy, if I'm saying an aggressive type of strategy, usually think about it like this. You basically have 2 first-round selections if it's a snake draft. So that's what you're doing. You're going after the 2 top dogs, whether it's like a Christian McCaffrey and a Cooper Kupp or a Christian McCaffrey and a Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to do it here with Jonathan Taylor just because I really want to put myself behind the 8 ball, if you will, and really challenge myself because I know at wide receiver, like those wide receivers usually go for a lot cheaper than their suggested value. So you can get a little bit of a discount on them. So I'd say it's not as an aggressive type of strategy if you went with the 2 top-end running backs, pretty much the 2 top-end players. I mean, just think about it in full PPR formats. Who are the top 2 players usually off the board? It's Taylor, that's Christian McCaffrey in that order or flip-flop. But here, look, we're basically going to pass on a lot of these players because they're going to be above our range. I mean, we have $57 left. Our max bid is 48. We've got 2 running backs already. We're going to be out on all of these guys. So I can kind of go through all of this. And as much as I love some of these wide receivers, and there's probably some really good value on guys like a CeeDee Lamb or a Mike Evans, we are not in the situation to land these guys. We have to stay patient now. We have to let these other teams get to under $100, and then we're going to be able to get back into it. Now, let's see what Jamar Chase goes for. I remember last time we did this, I got him pretty cheap. I mean, I'll bid $22 if I get him for 22. But yeah, no, like immediately the bid goes up to 29. So I'm just going to pass on it. He goes for 35. Javonte Williams, like I said before, the top name running backs at this point in time. We've already got McCaffrey. We've already got Jonathan Taylor. Whether you do this on FantasyPros, whether you do this on ESPN, on Yahoo, if you go uber aggressive and get McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor, or like let's say McCaffrey and Austin Eckler, you're going to be out on the running back position for a while afterwards. You're going to be out of the action for a while until, again, you're in more advantageous position where a bulk of those other people are also under $100. So that's just what we're going to do right now. When it's our turn to nominate someone, we're going to nominate guys that are expensive, and so let's in at a position that we don't want. So I'm just going to nominate Justin Herbert. I'm not going to pay that much for a quarterback. Let's see how much he goes for. He goes for 26, way too much. Also, some of these players, I said it before, these wide receivers are going to go for cheaper than you think that aren't named Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson. But even Justin Jefferson goes for 39 compared to 54 for Cooper Kupp. Jamar Chase goes for 35. So there's going to be really good value on these wide receivers. That's why I always say, know what platform you're drafting on. Because it's going to make a huge difference how much the suggested prices are and how these players are bid up. So, again, Saquon Barkley just went for $50. That's pretty crazy. CeeDee Lamb at this point at $30 would be a very good value, but again, I only have 57, so I'm going to pass on him. Yeah, I mean, he went for $33. Awesome value. Let's see what Terry McLaurin goes for. Maybe I'll get in on a bid, like one little bid. But no, honestly, probably the remaining wide receivers that I have, their average value is going to be around like $10 to $15. So I'm out on Devontae Adams. He goes for $42. So more expensive than Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Let's see how much Stephon Diggs goes for, and if it's going to be more expensive than Devontae Adams. No, he goes for 38. Alvin Kamara, so a guy that we'll see how the potential suspension, I should say, affects him. He goes for 54, so, at this point in time, not too bad. Leonard Fournette goes for 55. That's crazy. Nick Chubb, again, we can pass on this. He's not somebody that I would be interested in regardless. He goes for 44. That's a lot in full PPR, in my opinion. But let's quickly look at the remaining budgets. How many people are under $100? Obviously, we are. There's another 1, 2, 3, 4. So, yeah, I mean, still the majority of the league has over $100. So let's continue to wait. It's the name of the game at this point in time. As much as I love a guy like Travis Etienne, we're not going to have the most running back depth. So that's usually what happens when you go to two of the top two running backs out of the gate. So, yeah, I mean, $43, it's out of our budget. It's $20 more than the suggested value. I love Aaron Jones, but he's probably going to go for like $50. So, again, we're going to pass on him. He goes for $53. That's absolutely insane. It's our turn to nominate someone. Let's nominate a tight end that's going to go for a lot of money. I'm just going to pass, see how, he goes exactly for $35. Mike Evans, he's intriguing, but again, he's over that kind of budget that I told myself of between $10 and $15. So the big name wide receivers we're going to pass. We're going to be targeting wide receivers kind of in that probably 4th to 5th round range. Guys that might be ranked as wide receivers 2s, but have a wide receiver 1 upside. So we're passing on a lot of players. Tyreek Hill, we're also going to pass on. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, he's suspended. I'm just going to pass on him immediately. He goes for $1. Keenan Allen here's, again, going in the 20s. I'd love to get him, but we just have to stay patient. But it's okay because people are slowly but surely getting under $100. I want to kind of bring your attention to that. There's only 2 other teams that are over $100. So let's continue to pass on some of these names. A.J. Dillon, I'm just going to pass on immediately. T. Higgins, let's see what T. Higgins, I'm going to bid $11, and of course, immediately goes up to like $20. So we're passing on him. He goes for 22. I hate A.J. Brown this season. I'm passing on him. Breece Hall, no thank you. He goes for 26. DJ Moore, I've already got Christian McCaffrey. I don't want to invest too heavily in that offense. Our turn to nominate someone again. Let's nominate another quarterback. Let's nominate Patrick Mahomes. Continue to make other people spend at least like $20, $27 in fact. Let's bid $12 here on Michael Pittman. Let's see how high this thing goes up. His suggested value is 27. If I spend 16 here, actually 15, it'll kind of be in that range that I said. He does have wide receiver 1 upside, of course. It gets bid up, so good value for whoever got him at $21. Melvin Gordon goes for 11. Rashad Bateman, like this is the range. This is the range of guys that I was talking about. And we need to get depth of these guys because not all of them will hit. So that's the other thing. Like, Rashad Bateman, as much as we like him as another guy to like potentially break out this year, somebody like a Mike Williams to continue his success. Guys like Marquise Brown. We need to load up on a lot of those guys here so that we can have that depth at wide receiver at a good value in case something doesn't pan out. David Montgomery here, we're just going to pass on him. He goes for $39. Cam Akers, we're going to pass on him. He goes for $33. Antonio Gibson, no thank you. A lot of these guys on my do not draft list. So Kyle Pitts, no thank you there. We're not hurting for a tight end. Like Thielen, I guess, would fit this criteria, but I have him a lot lower than a lot of these other guys. So Dalton Schultz just got nominated. Let's see we still have guys like Waller, Kittle, Zach Ertz at that position. I'll bid $4 on him if that's what it's going to cost, but I don't think I'd be shocked if we get him for $4. I'm just going to pass at this point in time. He goes for 15. Brendan Cooks, I'm going to pass on. He goes for 19. Our turn to nominate someone. Let's nominate another quarterback. You get the gist of it at this point in time. We're going to pass on him. I'm guessing he goes for at least 20. Deontay Johnson now. A wide receiver, we definitely need a wide receiver help. But again, I think a guy that's going to regress this season. But I will say we are now close to the top of the leaderboard in terms of cash because we've got 48. The guy with the highest amount of money left is at $69. Nice. But yeah, so Jaylen Waddle, we're going to pass on him as well. Russell Wilson, I can wait on the quarterback position. So I'm not too worried about that. He goes for $10. J.K. Dobbins, I'm going to pass on. Cordero Patterson, we're going to pass on. He goes, wow, Cordero Patterson just went for $20. DK Metcalf with no Russell Wilson, no thank you. Chase Edmonds with all those running backs in Miami, no thank you. Let's see what happens with George Kittle. All right, we're going to bid a couple of dollars. We're going to bid up to probably like $10. Oh, damn it. And of course, it's probably going to get up to more than 12. I'll bid at 12, and if we get him at 12, I'd be pretty happy. Let's see. He went for 17, so not too bad. I think pretty good value. We're going to pass on a lot of these, running backs on questionable offenses. Juju Smith-Schuster at this point in time in Kansas City, not a bad value, especially if he goes for under $10. But look, this is what I mean. We still have some really good wide receivers. Mike Williams, Marquise Brown, potentially a Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson, my dude over there. Chris Godwin can be a really, really good value pick if he is available at the start of the season. But we just got Juju Smith. Oh, I was going to say we just got him and we got sniped is what ends up happening. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm going to continue to nominate high-end running back or just the most expensive running backs that are left. And I'm going to pass on them. Marquise Brown, though, here's another guy that I really, really, really like. If we can get him for like $15, I'd be happy. It's going to be spending a lot, but we need to make moves at the wide receiver position. I don't think we're going to get him at $6. Probably, like I said, if we can get him under $10, that's the ideal situation. But I think it's probably going to be for a little bit more, probably for like $11, $12, $13. So let's see. Actually, no, we get him for $10. So I'm pretty happy about that. Kyler Murray, I would love to get him, but we need to load up on wide receiver talent because, look at our roster. Yes, we got McCaffrey, we've got Jonathan Taylor, but it's like Rashad Bateman, Marquise Brown next. We can get quarterbacks like a Matthew Stafford later on for better value. So we pass on Kyler Murray. And of course, I say Matthew Stafford here. But yeah, his suggested value is $8. Like the way this FantasyPros algorithm is built for these auction drafts, quarterbacks, I'm not seeing them go for higher than their suggested value unless it's like the top end guys. And as soon as I say that, we're probably going to end up doing just that. That's wild. I guess that shows me. But yeah, so we go for $9 for Matthew Stafford. But to me, he's the highest ranked like quarterback that I would prefer at this point in time. So we got Stafford, McCaffrey, Taylor, Bateman, Marquise Brown. So now if I can get a, Allen Robinson, I would be very, very happy. These guys I'm just going to continue to pass on. Mike Williams is also somebody that I really like. The question is like up to what value is he going to go? $10. I'm okay spending $10 on him. Let's see. It'll probably go for more than that just because his suggested value, his suggested value is $18. Let's see these rankings though for wide receivers at least. Like Allen Robinson, his suggested value is $15. So honestly, I'm just going to pass on Mike Williams. I really like him, but I'm okay with Allen Robinson instead. In fact, I have him ranked higher. Also, there's no way Darren Waller, I was going to say, goes for his under $10. So we're going to pass on him. He goes for 18. Joe Burrow, we already have a quarterback. He goes for 8. Hawkinson, I'd rather have like a Zach Ertz, honestly. I would. So I pass on him. He goes for 8. Darnell Mooney, let's get in on this action a little bit, even though I'd probably just rather go Cole Kmet at the tight end position if we got to go one way or the other. So I'm actually going to pass here. He goes for 9. That's a very good value. Mon-Ra, I think he's going to regress. Chris Godwin could be a steal here because of the reports that he could be ready at the start of the season. So that's really what people are looking at here with Chris Godwin. You kind of take a flyer on him. You don't know what's going to happen. But I'm just curious. He goes for $12. So it is what it is. I'm going to nominate Courtland Sutton here. I'm not the biggest Courtland Sutton fan, but he's kind of the next highest priced wide receiver. So making people continue to spend their money. And once we kind of control this show, which honestly we do, we have the most amount of funds left. So now we can hopefully get some really good value picks is what I'm hoping for. Elijah Moore, I don't love the situation with the Jets, so I'm passing on these guys, but I want to point out that all these guys are going for very, very good value at this point in time. Jerry Jeudy, I'd rather go Allen Robinson here. I'd rather go hard with Allen Robinson. And then take a flyer on Michael Thomas. I think Michael Thomas can be in that similar situation as a Chris Godwin, but he's supposedly gonna play. So wow, Brendan, you just went for $1. That's insane. I should have gotten in on that if we're being honest. So let's see what happens if we get Michael Thomas for like $6. I'd be happy about it. These other wide receivers, Michael Thomas definitely has the upside. I'm just going to pass on him. He ends up going for 7. I'm going to nominate Allen Robinson, and I'm just going to get him at this point in time to start, kind of rounding out this roster, and so that we can talk how this ultra aggressive strategy panned out and whether it worked or not for us. So I think that's the name of the game here. And to see if it's something that you guys want to utilize and the benefits and drawbacks to it, because there definitely are. There definitely are benefits. There definitely are drawbacks. And we're getting hurt a little bit here because we're paying up for Allen Robinson. I was hoping we can get him for less than $10. But either way, we get him, so I'm not too upset. And we still have a good amount of money left, $19 compared to everyone else. So we're passing on Jalen Hurts. Sky Moore is an interesting guy. But, he's got the upside. I'd rather go with an Allen Lazard in Green Bay, if we're being honest. So looking at our roster, we can kind of start talking the benefits and the drawbacks. We're not going to build out this entire thing because, it's going to take a little bit more time in an auction draft, but we have the majority of our roster already taken care of. So we've got Matthew Stafford, in my opinion, a top 10 quarterback, top 6 guy. We've got 2 of the top running backs in McCaffrey and Taylor. Problem is, we don't have too much depth afterwards at the running back position, and that's where it gets a little bit problematic. I think you're going to see that a lot with these ultra-aggressive auction drafts, especially if the top 2 picks are 2 top 5 running backs. So I'm going to go with, I'm going to throw some money here at Dallas Goedert, see what happens. If we can get him, honestly, I'm just going to go for Cole Kmet and those guys that I mentioned before, Zach Ertz. But then our wide receivers, I'm happy we got Marquise Brown. I'm happy we got Allen Robinson. Worst case, I think they're both high-end wide receiver 2s. So that's not bad. Rashad Bateman, he's more kind of in between. So basically what happens here is you're really banking on your starting roster. You're banking on no injuries because, as you can see, we still haven't started to fill out our bench pieces. So that's the problem here at the end of the day. And you're just not going to have a lot of depth, as opposed to if you are more conservative, you're going to have some really, really great depth pieces. Also, we just got Allen Lazard for $1, so I'm very happy about that. That's a win here late. And you're going to see that a lot here at this late stage where there's not a lot of money left. A lot of these guys are going to go for a lot cheaper than you might expect. So at tight end, what's left? Zach Ertz. We can take a flyer on a guy like a Tony Pollard. Looking at these other names, he's probably kind of has the highest upside. But I mean, he's still a backup, so I'm just going to pass on him as well. He went for $8. Singletary, I'm passing on. Yeah, that's the problem. We're not going to have good depth at the running back position. I'm just going to go hard with Zach Ertz here. Hopefully we can land him, get our starting roster totally complete, and, you know, kind of show that off again. Yes, we've got Marquise Brown and Zach Ertz both on the Cardinals, but, I mean, to me, he was the highest ranked tight end still available. Tyler Lockett, I mean, if Russell Wilson was still there, it'd be a different situation. He's not. Rondell Moore, no thank you. Our turn to nominate someone again. So looking at running backs, nothing that I necessarily love. Wide receiver, you know, maybe we take a chance on Hunter Renfrow was just automatically nominated. I mean, I was probably going to nominate him either way. I think he's like the highest ranked guy left in terms of wide receiver and in terms of upside. So yeah, let's just nominate him, and then we can kind of wrap this thing up because, you know, we've got the majority of our roster, and at this point in time, it'd just be a lot of back and forth with these other teams on like the difference between $1 and $2. But overall, look, as much as I love being ultra aggressive and landing both Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey, which you can't do in a snake draft, right? That's the whole point. Well, I just don't like sacrificing depth as much. So I don't know. Everyone else probably has a different opinion or similar concerns. Typically, I like to be somewhere more in between when it comes to my actual draft. So moderate, kind of just take it as you would a typical snake draft. So like draft the first round type of talent, a second round, a third round, a fourth round, so on and so forth. Because you do need some difference makers in auction drafts when it's said and done, guys that can carry your squad. So let's quickly here add Cole Kmet. We can afford him, I believe, and then wrap this thing up. Overall, you know, the grade that I would give this team, like if there's no injuries, okay, yeah, I give this team like a B+ grade, but you can never guarantee no injuries, especially when you got a guy like Christian McCaffrey and you've got zero depth at the running back position. So I can't give this team that high of a grade. Like I got to give this team probably a C+ grade. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section, along with any other questions you guys might have. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe. And again, make sure to check out the 2022 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide, now available for purchase. All the details in the description. And in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.